pre-Dover. Russ, after a pretty turbulent 12 months, do you feel that the club's sort of heading in the right direction again now?
Yeah, I think so. We've got a good group this year. Good spirit's good. Players are good. And you know, so far I think we've got to be fairly happy, although we're not satisfied. But like you said, yeah, it was a tough baptism for me to come into. But you know, it's all learning, and I'm enjoying it, loving it. And the boys this year have been a credit to themselves, to the club, and we just got to keep on, keep going, really.
Yeah, I suppose the key now is to go on another run, isn't it?
Yeah, no, yeah, you've got to get straight back on it. Can't afford to let things drift, because you know, teams will get away from us. So we can't afford to let things drift, and you know, be satisfied with what we got, even when we're performing well. I think we've still got to, you know, produce and sort things out and make sure that things can be better. And it's just about giving the players ideas and options, and you know, then putting into practice.
What do you feel is the biggest thing you actually learnt in the last year?
Good question. You've done me on that one. There's loads of things, really. I just think that well, initially it's obviously the step up from youth to senior level. It's, you know, I'm comfortable with that. It's not a problem there. So it's you know, out on the training pitch wise, it's fine. You know, no problems there. Dealing with players, obviously, you got the intricacies of that. Obviously, the manager's got all that more than me at the minute, but you know, certainly bounce off each other with that. So it's just you know, tactically wise, formation, team play wise, you know, I'm pretty okay with most of it, but obviously still always learning, and it's mainly, you know, the management of everybody, really, I would say. Keeping a good group. It's obviously tougher last year because, you know, didn't have as good a group as this year. So, but it's just about keeping on top of it as well.
And this weekend, Dover, your old club, and I suppose Cheltenham possibly owe them as a club from last year in the FA Cup. But you know, you were still involved with the youth team at the time.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was previous manager's first or second game, wasn't it? It was a bit of a shame we went out. Was it the second round last year? Second?
Yeah, second.
So you know, you had a potential lucrative third round tie coming up, but yeah, it was a good club, Dover, for me. 5 years I had there. Had a lot of success as well. We got promoted from the Southern Premier to the conference, and it was handy while I was doing my teaching degree to play at that standard and keep myself in. And the manager was there, still the same, Chris Kinnear. Good bloke, Chris, good manager. Knows his players, and has always put together good sides wherever he's been. So we know what to expect from them, and you know, it's a club that's obviously local to where I'm from originally. So I always keep a little bit of a tab on them, and they've done well this year. They've started all right, so we've got to, you know, perform. They'll be a tough side, which they were last year, weren't they, in the cup? I think we sort of played into our hands a little bit, but you know, we'll certainly be trying to get one over on them.
And they've just signed Toby Ajala, who was here on loan, and obviously they've got Jeff Goulding as well.
Yeah, I didn't. Toby was only here for a month or so when I don't think he played, but not really seen too much from him. He's a winger type player. So, and Jeff, yeah, Jeff done all right here at times. I don't think he's probably fulfilled his talent that he has actually got, but yeah, they've got some good players. They're you know, they're pretty tight at the back, and you know, they can nick a goal or two.
And they have a lot of shots, both on and off target. I think they top the conference stats for that.
Yeah, they can play direct, and they can, you know, get it down. So they've got a bit of a mixed bag in there, and there's certainly 2 or 3 players that we've got to be aware of, which we'll be putting over to the boys. So, but you know, it's another one. We're at home. It's our territory. We've got to dictate to the opposition how we play, and if we do, you know, we'll give all teams in this league a tough game.
Actually, how much have you sort of been able to keep an eye on Dover over the years? Because geographically, you know, they're so far away. Yeah,
it's obviously quite a way away. I know that because my mum's down there. It takes me 3 hours, and it took me 5 hours the other week to get home from Folkestone. So it's but obviously with ththings nowadays, there's so much more information about. I've always kept tabs on them. And like I said, it's a good club, probably where they deserve to be. You know, they've got a good fan base, and with Chris in charge, they'll always have a good. They'll always make a good fist of things. I know Jim Parment as well, the chairman. He was one of the directors at the time, so he's a very determined guy who won't suffer fools. So, you know, I'm thinking Chris has got a good man. So they've done well over the years, and they got back to. They had a slip out for a while, didn't they? Dropped down the league or two, but they've got themselves back in and did well last year. Went on a great run, and ended up just mid-table, just outside the playoffs.
So thank you, good luck.
Russ, you mentioned you played for Chris. It would have been 20 years ago.
Yeah.
More though.
Yeah.
Can you take any of that into Saturday, knowing what he's going to be about, or is it just too long ago?
Yeah, well, I know how they like to play. I know how Chris likes to set his teams up. Obviously, he can change every time, but I know generally what he likes to do. Players change, but I think he still likes to keep a similar sort of style of play and formation. So, but he's always put good teams together, and I don't think Saturday will be any different.
Yeah. Cast your mind back a bit closer this time, 16 years ago. Russian and Diamonds had a flying start like Forest Green have had. Have you been using that sort of experience to tell the boys, look, it's not over in the first 7-8 games of the season?
Well, I think everyone knows that. There's still loads of points. You know, from last Saturday we were a bit down on the bus, and we sort of said, well, let's get back on it. You know, we can't afford to, think about things too much from the past, and just final. The icing on the cake was all that was missing, I think, Saturday. You know, just that little final third bit of intricacy we needed, which would have opened them up. But there's lots of things to play for, lots of points. Couldn't remember that Forest Green went, Rushden went that far unbeaten in the league the time we went up. It's what happens over 46 games, isn't it? Not what happens over 8. I'm sure Forest Green will still be up and around it. How far ahead or whether they'll be back in the pack.